that guy that you described that once taken over by my pain body, my friends and family say, who is that monster? And so I've been practicing observing and being the watcher. And that works well. Clearly, my pain body cannot survive the life consciousness. But, it's afraid because its existence is threatened, and it's figured out how to take me from relative presence to deep unconsciousness very rapidly on certain triggers. And so my question is really around that kind of rapid activation of the pain body. Are there any practices for dealing with that? And once deeply unconscious, is it even possible to be the watcher, or is that what it means to be deeply unconscious, the complete absence of consciousness, and I just need to wait until it feeds and let it go dormant again?
Yeah. Thanks. Now, the main form that your pain body takes, I assume, is anger.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's the one form the pain body can take that is the quickest, that comes so rapidly in some people that you can't catch it. But you also mentioned that there are certain situations that tend to trigger your pain body. So one thing you can do is, when you are in such a situation where you already know from past experience that your pain body may get triggered in that situation, you can be more than usually alert, more highly alert, to see, regard it as an experiment, to see if you can catch it. It could also be a certain conversation going in a certain direction, in a direction that you know is, for example, is going to trigger the pain body. And once it's going to, okay, bring up, feel, be in the body, to use the inner body awareness as an anchor so that you can hold on to presence. So be fully there, and then see if you can catch it. If you're prepared, you're more likely to catch it. That's one thing you can do. So when you know those familiar situations, I don't know what it is in your case, it could be visiting certain people or having a talk, or certain topics that you're discussing with somebody or your partner that tend to bring it up, so that you can, whatever it is, you can probably even write down what the usual situations are, the most likely situations are. And sometimes, as I said, you can see events leading up to it before, because you know it from experience. With the conversation, for example, with your partner or whoever is going in a certain direction, and you say, this is where we are going. And so then you can be doubly present. You have to just be, not suppress it, not I mustn't have a pain body attack, no, but to be there as a watcher. Just, the pain body doesn't like the intense light of consciousness on it. Pain body being, of course, an accumulation of old emotion that is almost an entity that lives in you. Another thing you can do is, after a pain body attack, because just before I go on, in the middle of it, as you suggest, if it's very strong, there's perhaps nothing much you can do. While if you're totally in the grip of it, you are it, and so you won't even know that anything else is possible. But as presence grows in you, one day you may find, whenever it still happens, one day you may find, to your astonishment, that even in the middle of a pain body, there's suddenly in the background, there's a little light of awareness from where you're observing what's happening to you. It doesn't necessarily mean immediately the pain body attack will come to an end, but there may be a witness in the background. That kind of witness. There it is. It may be at first very, very much in the background, and then gradually more. It's an amazing thing when one wakes up in the middle of a pain body attack. It can happen. If it doesn't happen yet, that's fine too. There are other ways. Another one being after it has happened, you could, just as a structured practice, not necessarily immediately after, perhaps the next day, you can, usually I don't recommend going into the past or anything like that, but in this particular case you could try to replay the events just leading up to your loss of consciousness, just replay it in your mind, and then you might experience a mild form in a pseudo kind of pain body attack. It's not the real thing, because the pain body knows, but you may get just a resonance or an echo of what you actually did experience on that occasion. And there it will be easier to stay present. So you replay it in your mind, not compulsively, only you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes now, and then you're done with it. Don't replay it in your mind for the next few days. So that's a little bit like you get you know what they do when you get a vaccine. You get the same virus, but in a weakened form. So that's a little bit like that. So if presence is the immunity, then presence builds up more easily like that. That's another thing then you can do. And if you are close to certain people who have enough understanding of this process of consciousness and unconsciousness and of the pain body, you may ask, one thing you can do is to have a little game, which is play acting, for example with your partner or friend, whoever it is. Say, why don't you play the game that you talk about this and accuse me of having done this or that, and then, but don't tell me beforehand. Say, do it when I'm not expecting it. Because if he tells you, okay, let's do it now, then nothing is going to happen, then, because you know full well. But if it comes unexpectedly, and then in that moment he raises a flag or something and says, this is, it's a rehearsal. This is, that could be interesting to see what happens then, whether the pain body will be there probably, but what happens to it when the pain body sees that it wasn't a genuine situation? It may deny that it wasn't a genuine situation, because pain bodies are very clever. It will shout, say, don't want anything to do with this. Is the pain body wants it to be real, but you'll have to see, experiment a little bit. And then you could get just a little joke, you can get an actor to play into your life, pay him or her, and to come in twice a week and ring your doorbell and say something to do that you know is going to trigger your pain body. So there are various things then you can do. Another interesting question is, how long does the pain body attack last? You have to observe that in yourself. And it is, as presence grows, you may find that the time span, the lifespan of the pain body shortens. So instead of being around for an hour or whatever, or even more, and some it could be several hours, you may find you go through it much more quickly. But I don't want to put any suggestions into your mind. You have to just observe to see how long it tends to last. At the moment, I'd like to ask you, What's the average lifespan of a pain body attack until you regain consciousness? How long?
Yeah, for this kind of activation, it's severe. Yeah, I have to.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes, for this kind of activation that's severe, I have to go to sleep and wake up the next morning. That's the only
yes.
way
Okay.
it subsides.
Yes. So even if it happens in the morning, then it would be there throughout the day. Yes. And of course it colors, as you well know, it colors all your subsequent, because you will experience the rest of the day through the emotional pain body. Also, as you know, your mind activity while you're in the grip of the pain body is the pain body speaking through your mind. So it takes possession of your mind. All your thought activity is a reflection of the emotion of the pain body. So what your mind is telling you, or what your mind is telling other people, or the way in which your mind is judging situations that you're in, they're all totally distorted by the pain body. It's an amazing phenomenon. So I recommend then continued vigilance and a little bit of experimentation, playful approach. Although the pain body, the thing the pain body likes least is not to be taken seriously. And so that's precisely why you shouldn't take it that seriously, because the pain body is serious. Spending as much time as you can in inner body awareness helps, even while you're free of the pain body, because then the more presence you get into the cells of your body, the harder it is for the pain body to take you over. And so that's so when all is well, so that you grow in presence power, and then it'll be much easier to be there when it happens. So the general tendency is like this. First, you will tend to observe a shortening of the pain body's lifespan. So from a whole day, it may come to a couple of hours, 1 hour, half an hour. That's one thing that tends to happen. Regaining consciousness. At what point consciousness comes back? You may find it comes back not after you've had a good night's sleep. You may find it comes back as the energy of the pain body weakens gradually. You may find consciousness coming in sooner, even while it's still a little bit of it, the remnants of it are still there, and consciousness comes in already. There it is. And then even sooner after a while, until you reach the point that I mentioned before, that when there's enough presence in you, in the middle of it, the witness may be there. Or the witness is there even as it happens, and at the same time you know it's happening, and then the pain body can't survive for that long. It's a good motivation for presence. The pain body has its place, and don't beat yourself up afterwards, and just accept it's nothing personal, it's just the human pain body. And presence grows, so it becomes fuel for consciousness, really. I had a very heavy pain body. My pain body wasn't anger, it was, sadness, depression, unhappiness, happiness, poor me, that kind of thing. And it lingered sometimes for days at a time, with associated thoughts in my head that started in childhood. Whenever something happened that wasn't good, one of the habitual thoughts I had as a child up to the age of well, probably into my 20s, and I already had that thought when I was 8, bad things always happen to me. Always bad things happen to me. And so whenever something went wrong, or the thought came, oh, yeah, of course, always me. It's always bad. It's always. I didn't know I had that thought because I was that thought. I totally believed in it. Well, I wish you success, and next time we meet, you can give us a progress report.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.